Hi all, Agent here, and we're going to fly another Interceptor Copter, this time with narration. This one was the first one I built. It's a little heavier and a little bit slower. I've made some adjustments to it, but I haven't tested them yet. I just played this match and then made a few changes to it afterwards. I built these because of the plasma cannonball weekend thing. All my air plasma just doesn't work, and I've seen a lot more air plasma on enemy teams and my team in general, so I went ahead and built an interceptor. It's not a traditional interceptor with aerofoils and thrusters. I wanted to be able to hover and capture towers too, and the other one handles almost like a heavy bomber or heavy interceptor. This one handles a little more like a copter. It's not quite as tough as the second iteration I built, which is actually like the fifth one. I've done a lot of experimenting with it, but they do work pretty well. This one is using laser vaporizers instead of disintegrators, and that is so I can always have energy to blink or cloak. It does deal a little less damage. You're typically not going to top score unless you're capturing towers a lot, but I don't play this game to be top score every time. I play it for fun, and I'm hoping the team win by taking these aircraft out of the sky, which is exactly what this thing is meant to do. Its weakness is going to be fast-moving, agile drones with good pilots. Just anything is going to be weak against that except maybe ground rail at range and probably another drone. You may get a really well-built interceptor with a really skilled pilot that can fight these drones, but anything in the sky is going to be at a pretty significant disadvantage to drones. It can fight them, and I do fight them one-on-one, but when you get teams of them, it's probably not going to work out for you. But other than that, this thing is great at taking out bombers and other types of aircraft, and you're going to see we're going to take this drone out a lot. He doesn't even choose to fight me. I don't think he has lasers. I think he's all plasma, and that is exactly what we're going after with this build. When this weekend's over, I'm either going to change this build up or just upload it to the CRF and get rid of it out of my bay, build something else once we get our good old plasma back. I had just gotten into these copters. We're going to blink here just to break his lock, but I just gotten into these copters. I call them pancake copters. Wall copters, they don't handle very well. They're like giant tanks in the sky, and everything can hit you. They're not very good at getting low and flying in valleys and under bridges and stuff like that. So I kind of got away from wall copters. They used to be fun back in the old days of hit scan lasers, back when they called them SMG. But they're not too great these days, especially with cloaking bots, blink, and area of effect damage like flak. It can get behind your bot and take your rotor blades off, and then you're just this big mass of cubes that can't do anything on the ground. So instead, I've been building what I call pancake copters. I don't know if there's a name for these, but they're generally pretty flat. They're 3 or 4 blocks thick at most, not counting the rotors. And they have rotors on the top and bottom. Why would anyone put rotors on the bottom of a copter that's going to be taking fire from the ground? Well, the 3 rotors on the bottom aren't necessary. They're just there for redundancy, and they actually act as armor for the bottom of the bot. I can lose those 3 rotors and not lose any mobility at all. They're completely unnecessary. I took this bot when I built it in the original bomber and interceptor copter that I built, and I took 3 rotor blades off, and then I replaced them with full cubes. So I've got 45 more kilograms of mass, having taken essentially 0 damage except to my rotors, and the thing still flies. So under normal circumstances, when I'm taking a lot of damage and I'm like down to 2 rotors, it's still going to be able to fly. And then I've got the blink that can get me out of situations, and I've got cloak. So it's a pretty decent build. It's not the greatest build out there, but it does its job pretty well. I really like the laser vaporizers. I wish they did a little more damage. They're not great at killing stuff once you've taken it out of the sky, but they are very good at taking things out of the sky, and their energy drain is extremely low. Without even a power module, I'm very hard-pressed to run myself out of energy. I have to be constantly shooting for several minutes in a row to even run out of energy with these vaporizers. So they do a really good job. You trade off some damage, but you also gain the ability for sustained fire. I'm kind of torn between these and the laser disintegrators because my better build, the fourth or fifth pancake copter build I've made, it does a lot better. It's got disintegrators and it's got a power module. Though without the power module, I don't think the disintegrators do too great of a job. They do pack a punch and they're good at 1v1s, but in this game you're not going to be fighting a whole lot of 1v1s. You're going to be facing 1, 2, 3, or 4 enemies all at once. They're probably all going to be shooting at you. So real quick here, we're going to degun this guy. I'm going to get low. I know I'm pretty tough. So we took his chain shredder off, and we're going to get down in there and we're going to shoot off his lasers and get him off of our tower. We want to end this match quickly so we can go ahead, get our crates, and move on to the next match. So I'm going to check out this tower. The guy over there has been dealt with pretty well. My teammates got him on the ropes, so I'm not going to worry about going over there and trying to get a kill. I'm actually going to take on this lock-on guy because I've also got Cloak and Blink, and I can get rid of him pretty efficiently. He's not going to be able to lock onto me before I can shoot his launcher off. So we're going to kill him. We're going to turn our attention down to the laser tank, or I think that's a tank. Maybe it's a hover. We're going to turn our attention to that and get him off of that little sniper spot because that is a really good camping spot. It really shouldn't be there. You know, our side of the map also has a camping spot, but it's not as good as that spot. These maps aren't quite balanced, but so we want the guy off of that spot. We don't want anybody up there, especially rails or lock-ons. We don't want anyone standing up there and looking out across the map and shooting stuff. They have a really big advantage on that side of the map with that tower just outside of their base. They've got a high point right above it, so it's a pretty distinct advantage. They've got a high point and they've got kind of a lot of open ground that we have to cross to approach it. There's a little bit of cover on one side, but it doesn't always do the trick, so we don't want anybody hanging around up there. We've got this team on the ropes, so I'm just going to focus on the aircraft like I should be doing. It's the whole point of this build is to focus down the aircraft so that my ground units on my team can do their jobs and take those towers without being bombarded from the sky. So that's what we're going to focus on. We can do ground combat. Like I said, with these vaporizers, you can have a near unlimited stream of laser fire, so you can always be shooting at something. It's not going to hurt. You're not going to be wasting energy, and you're probably going to have the energy to escape with Blink or Cloak or both to break a lock and get away. So just like that, we're going to blink and get out of there. Chain shredder guy, he tears aircraft up pretty good. Don't know why that gun's so good at it, but it doesn't even matter because there you have it. We won the match. It was quick and dirty. It did look like they were a man down, but they did have a small advantage. So hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.